I'd like to introduce Jackie Norris. Jackie Norris is an incumbent Des Moines School Board member. She's approaching the end of her first term this fall. She's also president of school board. She's been the president of school board. This will be your second time in the last 2 years.
That's right.
And I'm going to give Jackie 5 minutes to talk about herself and her campaign, and we'll ask for a couple questions, and we'll go from there.
Great. Well, thank you.
Jackie, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. And thanks to the Unity Coalition for having forums like this, because it's really important that we take time to talk about really important issues. And quite honestly, that doesn't happen as much as I think I'd like to see it happen at the local level. So just a little bit about me. I'm Jackie Norris. I live in Des Moines. I am officially an empty nester, but prior to that, I had 3 of my sons go through Des Moines Public Schools. I credit actually their success thanks to Des Moines Public Schools. They are the proud product of public schools. I'm the daughter of a teacher, public school teacher who taught for 37 years. My mom was a school nurse. And so I really think public education is the great equalizer in our society. And that is what drives me and drives my interest in wanting to lead and serve on the school board. I am a small business owner, and man, it is hard. But I do market research and management consulting. And in any free time I have, I like to show up at schools, and I like to go to sporting events and do the things that help me keep my pulse on the pulse of the community. I think a couple of things I just say about what has been accomplished in the past really term for me. Most importantly, although it was a team effort, is that we did offboard a superintendent and onboard a new superintendent. And I think we've done a really good job embracing him in our community and welcoming him and setting Dr. Roberts up for success. Another thing that we focused on as a school board is better community engagement by DMPS. It is often the case that people who have means or people who have time are showing up to events to give their feedback, participating in surveys. And one of the things I'm really proud of is the leadership. I'm actually in partnership with Ms. Alonso when we served together in leadership to go out in communities and show up in, whether it's the community centers or the churches or, Conmigo or wherever we went. But we came to community members and asked them what they wanted in a superintendent, what they wanted to see, what the hopes and dreams for their kids were. And I'm really proud of that outreach because I think too often if we wait for people to come to us, and then you miss really critical voices. Another thing that I'm really proud about at DMPS is the extra accountability that we're bringing to the conversation. We have goals, and one of the things that we intentionally called out is the fact that our students of color, especially boys, are not learning at the same rate as our other kids, and that's not okay. And so, but I think the precision of looking at how are African American kids doing, how are Latino kids doing, and understanding at a much more strategic and precision strike level is actually ideally going to help accelerate reading or math in this case for all students. So a real strong focus on goals. And then the last thing I think is really important that I want to elevate is advocacy. Des Moines Public Schools is an easy target. We're the largest school district. We have an amazing collection of human beings that walk through our doors every day, staff and students. They come from all across the world. They speak so many different languages. And yet our state always finds something to challenge, right? Whether it's the books that our kids are reading, or whether it's the rates at which our young people are learning, or it's with our teachers who aren't being paid appropriately. All of those things are things that we have to advocate against. And so I've spent a fair amount of time at the Capitol, quite honestly, for the past 3 years, talking to Democrat and Republican legislators and making sure they know how great our students are and how great our teachers are. And most recently, right now, fighting for pre-K. We need more pre-K. It is an excellent way. We need full day pre-K, not just pre-K for 4 hours, because that doesn't work for a lot of working parents. And so that's something I've been partnering with Dr. Roberts on, as well as the school board, and continue to lead that forward. So I could keep talking, but I actually would prefer
No,
just
that's
to,
all right.
yeah, answer
No,
questions.
no, we have a couple questions, but just two,
Yeah.
because our time is limited tonight. One is, what is your vision for the next term? What are your priorities? So that's question number one. Question number two, how does reimagining education move the district and close the achievement gap?
Yeah, thanks. Let's focus on one first, and then I might ask you to repeat the second one. Um, I think DMPS is great, and I also think DMPS can do better. I think it's really important that we hold ourselves to a standard of excellence. And I think in the conversations we're having at the board table, in the caliber of board members we are tackling the tough conversations. What do I want to accomplish? I want to see DMPS succeed. I want to see our literacy rate increase. I want to see our math success increase. And we want to see more teachers and staff retained. They're staying with us. And we want to see, and I think this is the most important thing, our equalizer is our diversity at Des Moines Public Schools. It is our strength. Everybody should want to send their kids to Des Moines Public Schools because our diversity is actually what is preparing our kids to be global leaders in the community. And I think we have to keep talking about that. That is a competitive advantage. And so I hope that we embrace the human beings that are in our district and continue to tell their story, because it's really important. And so a huge part of what I want to accomplish is a continued cheerleader for DMPS. It is not okay for people to have DMPS be a punching bag, quite honestly, and to continue to underfund us and think that we can be successful.
Okay, with the second question again, how does reimagining education move the district forward and close the achievement gap?
Great question. When people think about reimagining education, I think there's been a lot of focus on the physical infrastructure. And yes, our buildings are aging. We have to address some of our building issues. We have to address some overcrowding in classrooms. There's a lot of work to do to keep that physical infrastructure healthy and able to be used. More important, I think, is the programmatic components of reimagining education. One of the things that we know is that every student is not built or interested in going to college. And so part of reimagining education is proudly and loudly and boldly saying, there's 3 paths to go to your next step, right? Whether it's a trade or apprenticeship program, whether it's a traditional college or 2-year or 4-year experience, or it's the military. And we have to design programs that support all 3 paths of learning. Part of what we're also trying to do is recognize that traditional education is not necessarily working for all of our students. And so by providing some different types of programming, whether it's for example, one of the things that's been talked about is an immersion learning or bilingual school. How wonderful would that be to build the capacity of our students to accelerate in the community? Or if they prefer a smaller learning environment and are more successful, that will increase their academic success. And so part of this is rethinking the traditional way of how DMPS is operating, looking at best practices from across the country, listening to parents, listening to staff, listening to teachers, and also focusing on what our community needs in terms of employment, because ideally we want our young people to gain the skills and stay in Iowa?
Well, Jackie, we have about 5 minutes remaining.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes to talk about it or whatever you want, more about the school board, about your campaign,
Yeah.
about the issues, and you'll give me the final minute and I'll close it up.
Okay, great. You know, one of the things that we didn't talk about is the environment in which we live in right now, which is very political. It is very partisan, and there are some very clear lines that have been drawn as it relates to political parties. And I think we should all be really disappointed in that because at the end of the day, the people that are getting screwed are our students and our staff. And we have over 30,000 young children that are entrusted to DMPS. And it shouldn't matter if there's a Democratic legislature or Republican legislature or a governor for that matter. What should matter is that they're adequately funding our teachers and our students' needs so we can actually have a fighting chance of being successful. And so one of the things I'd ask anybody that's watching is to get more engaged. And I know that's hard because right now it feels like there's not a pathway out, but we can't stop speaking up for our young people. They're our future, and we really need people to advocate. The last thing I'd say is, the conversation about immigration is designed to stoke fear. It is designed to make families anxious, students anxious, and yet the one thing I would say about DMPS is this is a school, a district that is so incredibly compassionate and is going to bend over backwards to make sure that our families and our students don't have the pressure of thinking about the deportation issues or other mixed immigration status issues, that we're creating whatever conditions for learning we can. And I think that's really important. And I know that Dr. Roberts has been offering a lot of resources to families of mixed immigration status. And our teachers are stepping around communities that are feeling stress around immigration. I think the final thing I'll say is I really do mean this. Public education is still the most common form of education. Charter schools and all of these other niche schools are not pulling that many kids off of our district right now. And so as a district, we need to be the best. We need to be the reason why people want to send their kids to us as opposed to charter schools, is because we are asking for excellence. We are making our programming interesting and innovative, and a place where a young person actually wants to walk through the doors because they know they are loved and seen by staff and teachers. So
Well, Jackie,
yeah, I hope you'll support me and vote for me in my reelection.